All right. I am live now. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Just finishing up some things here. Got to make sure the gym is locked up. I lock it up with a remote control device here. Boom, boom, boom. Jimmy Carter, by the way, fighting in the background. Joseph, are you in here? Let me know if you are, man. I responded to that email sparring with that rough and tumble guy. And, if you want to use this as an opportunity to talk about that, man, that's from a while back. But, yeah, man, the biggest thing, I'll start off, Joseph, if you're still in here, man. The biggest thing, let me just finish this up here, is keeping your distance with the lead hand, Joseph. So when he's keeping that constant pressure on you, one, you're in a small room, but two is you got to be that annoying guy that sticks out your lead arm and he bends at the waist hard, looking at the floor, and that's how he comes in repeatedly. And I know when you're fatigued, this is easier said than done, but my friend, he puts that head down. You keep his head down with your left arm. You move him off with your left arm when you turn, because you don't go straight back. But then we hit him with the right uppercuts as he comes in, and we extend the arms out so he can't even get close like he was getting to you, Joseph. So that is just something that very important that I want to make sure that you that you remember going against any type of pressure people or anything like that. All right. What's up, Ivar the Boneless? 2 a.m. in England, just getting ready to go to the gym. Nice. Getting after it. Getting after it. What is up, Rusty? Good to see you in here. Hopefully Joseph is still in here. Jay is in here. Is everyone across the pond? Rusty, are you across the pond? I don't think you are, but I think everybody else is. Where's the Americans, right? Oh, forget about them, right? We'll just dealing across the pond. Hope everyone's training has been going well. Some roof Korean. Hello, man. Good to see you. Again, let the questions roll, guys. Right over here, right over there, is playing Jimmy Carter, not the president, but the lightweight champion. Almost said light heavyweight champion. Lightweight champion. Not really known. Great, highly skilled fighter. Rusty's in Indiana, 8 p.m. there. Yeah, man, so still early over there. Open Q&A today. Yes, Ivar, shoot anything out, my man. Anything. This is not a fight study. I just got this playing over here for entertainment and, to see some good boxing while we talk. So if you're tired of looking at my face, you can watch the boxing as I talk. And then if I hit on something that you're like, but it's good to watch this classic boxing. This is what my dad and I would do every night. Like when we moved down to Mexico, we'd watch classic boxing every night. So I want to share that a little bit with you guys. And of course, we would talk about other things about boxing training. It would just be only about the fights. We got Wisconsin in the house. What are the best fighters to study? That is a big question. A big question. I'd love to give you more precise to what your style is, right? Or what your build is. But in general, if I'm going to just give you a kind of boilerplate answer, I think it's very important for any fighter, for any boxer, to do some studying of classic boxing. A little bit of Jimmy Carter, but a lot of Joe Louis, because the fundamentals are phenomenal. That's something that Chuck Bodak would always talk about, is watch Joe Louis for the foundations and the fundamentals, right? Does that mean you need to do everything exactly the way he did it? No, but it gives you a good idea, good understanding of the art of boxing. And then obviously you have Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard's a really, really good one. And then you have, of course, Sugar Ray Robinson as well, excuse me, but his style is what it is. And then also in more contemporary times, I think some good modern ones. I just did my whole fight study on Canelo. Canelo has a lot of the pieces. But again, I'm talking biased here, right? I have a biases to a little bit of the aggressive boxer. I wasn't a super long boxer, so I do tend to lean towards that way. A little bit more of what some might call a pro style of boxing, maybe. But, I don't want to pigeonhole anybody into a specific style, right? I want you to get the foundational tools and then really kind of discover your style, which takes time. It takes fights, it takes experience to do this. And I challenge a lot of my boxers to go through different styles and try different styles out, particularly in the gym and in sparring, but sometimes even in fights to help them progress. Because when you're on like the club level and things like that, amateurs, we want to win, but if you just win the same way all the time, every time, like, are you really developing that much? Not necessarily. So that's my initial thoughts for you there, Goofia. But yeah, man, let more questions drop if you would, guys. All right, Lex HP. I'm 26, 5'11", 147 pounds. Joining gym in 2 weeks. What should I work on? So you're saying you never boxed before? What I recommend you do is, just shameless plug here, but watch the stance video I did in the past 4 or 5 videos where I go over dissecting stance. And work on the basic stance position and work on your jab. And that's it. Let's just work on those things right now. And, if you were going to come to my gym, we'd work on the 1, 2, and the 3, right? That's kind of what we do our speed demo, stance and 1, 2, and 3. But how much experience you got? You got to give me a little more than that, my friend. But great question. Stance and the jab. Stance and the jab will take you very far. Like if you watch my Canelo video that just came out today, that's the secret weapon that people don't talk about. All right, Joseph. Yes. In right mindset now. Crush it. Love it, man. Destroy it. Only mindset is the problem. Thank you for everything, coach. Yes, this is true. This is so gosh darn true. Joseph comes in with the banger. So, guys, every day in the gym, I see people beat the hell out of people that are better than them because their mindset is better. Okay. I've been getting into doing jujitsu recently, and I can see the difference with that with me when my mind is sharp. And again, as you become, if you're newer to something, newer to a specific martial art, it takes a little bit more time sometimes to get that sharpness, right? You don't just immediately have it all the time, but you develop a habit of getting yourself in the right frame of mind for training and for sparring and for competition. And then you have that recreated effect. So I got that to the point with boxing for me. And then when I got into running like half marathons and races and things like that, I got into the mindset for that, the winning mindset. And then, now I'm messing around with something else, but that's everything. That is everything. Who is fighting right now? Yeah, so that is Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, great lightweight champion. Good, solid foundations. A good fight of his is against Aragon. Is it Aragon? I think it's Aragon. Nah, it's not Art Aragon. I think his name's Hell. I'll find it here a little bit later. But anyway, Jimmy Carter, check him out. Good, solid, foundational fighter. Look at that, catching the jab. Good defense. People always act like George Benton is the only guy that has defense. But like you see, it's like, he got it too. It's like John Scully was talking about this, how people act like, these guys invented the shoulder roll. And it's like everyone did the shoulder roll, caught jabs and all this other stuff. Anyway, circling left versus right, closed stance, orthodox versus orthodox. So, man, closed stance is a term I never heard before versus open stance. So closed stance, I'm assuming you mean same stance. That's like how I think of it and know it, right? Two people the same stance, right? So assuming that's what you mean by that, typically going to the lead side is easier. Now, let's put pieces together, right? Let's think for a second. So everything's easier to the lead side, and if they typically go to their lead side and we want to avoid them or circle around them to get shots off, easy, man. Game on. Now, if you want to go after someone, no, that's not the answer, because they're probably going to circle to their lead side and you're going to circle to your lead side. And what's that going to create? It's going to create a circle jerk. But ring around the rosy. And if you want to get them, you have to cut them off. And again, if you watch that fight study I did on Canelo's last fight that I just premiered today, you see Canelo do an excellent job of that. So at the end of the day, it's what you want to do with the person, right? That person's coming at you and you want to circle away from them. Yes, typically circling to your lead side is a good idea against the same stance fighter because they're going to probably slightly bias to coming in slightly on their lead side. So you're kind of circling away from them. Now, if someone's trying to avoid you, you're probably going to want to move to your rear side a lot more as you cut off, meaning if I'm orthodox, move to my right side because they're probably going to be fading to the right, to their left side, which is your right side. And that's what's going to allow you to walk them into the corner. All right. Great question, Jaden. And I hope that answered what you were asking. Thoughts on Eubank Jr. versus Ben? Oh, are they fighting? Huh. I don't see how an inconsistent welterweight can do much to a middleweight. I'm revealing some of my lack of knowledge on, when you say Ben, I don't have a lot of thoughts on that, and I should know more about. Okay, so of course I know Eubank Jr. Versus Nigel Ben, right? Is that who we're talking about? Trying to picture in my mind who the hell Nigel Ben is. Okay, cool. I got it locked now in my brain. I got it. Okay, check. Yeah. Nigel Ben, is he coming up in weight? Yeah, see, I don't know too much enough. I don't know enough on these two guys to speak about it. I know of Nigel Ben a little bit more than Eubanks Jr. But if I'm going to make just off the cuff guesstimation on it, let's see. What do you say? Inconsistent welterweight. I assume you're talking about Nigel Ben, right? I'll tell you though, Eubanks, there's cracks in Eubanks. I don't know, man. But I'm just going to throw a wild one out here. I'm just going to go with Ben. Now, I haven't looked further enough into it, so please don't hold me to that. But that's what I'm going to lean to, just because I've seen Ben do some good things in the ring. I haven't been like crazy impressed with Eubanks. Thoughts on who wins Beterbiev versus Bivol 3? Okay, I have some thoughts on this one. Everyone I've seen seems to dismiss Beterbiev since the second. Yeah, I mean, he's still in. It's still possibly a 50-50 fight. It's all about adjustments. And from my understanding, Beterbiev can make adjustments, and he's a student of the game. He's not just a hard-punching dude, obviously. So it's a 50-50 fight, I think. I'm not willing to bet on either guy, though. So 50-50. Sorry for not giving a decisive answer. Yo, Joe Sup. I've been boxing for 3 years, and I'm kind of tall. Fighter with long arms who fights long range. In sparring often, when I get attacked from below, I tend to lean back. What can I do about it? Well, so let's focus on perhaps not leaning back, but using our feet, right? Instead of the lean back. And then also, I mean, my friend, are you getting caught leaning back? Is your chin going up as you lean back? If you're not getting caught and your chin is not going up as you lean back, it's not too much of a problem. Now, if you're up against the ropes and you're leaning up against the ropes, that can be a problem, opens up your body. But if you do a slight pullback, lean back, and come back with a punch, it's not that much of a problem, my friend. So again, it's all about the level in which you're doing this. But I would challenge you, though, to try to get a little bit more of the same height as your fighter. What do I mean by that? I mean to bend at the waist a little bit to maximize your range and your reach on a shorter guy, and also not allow the shorter guy to come under you, which might be why you're leaning back. Check out a little bit of Bob Foster. He's a great, aggressive, very long, skinny fighter. He's light heavyweight. You didn't say how much you weighed, but, you know, assuming you're somewhere around that ballpark, check him out. You'll enjoy it, and it's something to add more shades to your style. Ivar, I had a thought yesterday that certain styles just match up badly, and to perform well at a regional level, developing a style which is an antidote to what everyone else is doing should be a priority. Yes. The question is, what should that style be? I thought yesterday certain styles just match up badly to perform well at a regional level. Developing a style in which an antidote to what everyone else is doing should be a priority. I mean, in theory, I'm with you. Now, Ivar, so what are your thoughts on this? When studying or trying out the styles of fighters, what should I really look for and focus on? This is coming from the boxing fan side of me, so I've been trying to study Duran and Chavez. Okay. It's all about looking the game, my friend. What are you looking for, right? So when studying or trying out the styles of different fighters, what should I really looking for and focus on? Okay. Well, so here we go. Uh Trade-offs. You doing Roberto Duran, are you now getting hit more or less? Okay. Are you now landing more or less? Are you getting tired more or less? If those three boxes are in the positive, then mimic those things, right? If it's not the case, then stop it. Now, same with Chavez, all right? It takes an understanding of fundamentals, and that's why I'm so big on the fundamentals, because when your foundation is solid, you can mix in shades of all these guys. But when your foundation is not solid, some roof Korean, then it doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter. It's like you trying to, oh, here we go. Like, I use the analogy of a house, right? And putting bad siding on it, right? Or you build the house crappy, the foundation sucks. And then you try to do a really nice paint job on it, right? Put really nice windows on it. It's like, well, dude, the whole foundation of the house sucks. Or let's liken it to music, right? For anyone that here that plays music, records music, that's something that I did before I got into boxing and everything else. You record a drum track and the track is like kind of crappy, right? It's kind of offbeat. It falls offline with the metronome. You record a kind of a bass line that kind of sucks. You record a kind of a rhythm line that kind of sucks, and you try to make it all sound good with a killer guitar solo, right? Or maybe if you're more into like the hip hop, right? You have all that sucky backing, but then you try to really do some killer rhymes over the top. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you had the best rapper ever put great lines over that, or you had Eddie Van Halen ripping the guitar over that stuff, or whoever you like. It doesn't matter. It's going to still be shit. So, but with the proper foundation, dude, you can be kind of sloppy as a guitar player and it sounds pretty good, right? That's called the blues or some jazz sometimes. Or, you like, again, think about like all the hip hop and rap stuff where it's like, the beat's perfectly on time because it's a machine or it's a sample from something else. And so like that's locked and solid. Then, man, that rapper can kind of and just whatever over it sometimes. And it's like, hey, it's kind of grooving. I can dig it. Same thing with boxing. All right. So I'm sorry, my friend. I'm going to kind of reject the premise. Now you build up the solid foundation. You take pieces of what these guys do that is not going to be a massive trade-off, right? And that takes an educated eye. It takes someone with experience. And you at your level might not have that experience, and that's okay. Do some experimentation, but also ask advice of people that are further along the road on specific techniques. All right. Super long tangent. I hope that helps. Connor Ben, his son. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I ain't got a thought on it. I really don't. Benjamin Font, you big. Oh, okay. Back in the day. That's right. All right. Yes. I have seen that fight. Okay. Their sons who are fighting now aren't anything close to what they're yeah. Who do you guys think? Who are you going with? Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. It sounded like Dr. Sos thinks it's going to be not Ben. It's going to be Eubank. Okay. Hello, Coach. What is up? Brandon Marr. Hello, Coach. I train with Josip all the time. Awesome. We learned so much from your stuff, from you, and I want to thank you. I have a problem with my shoulder. It's popping off. Popping out, I assume is what you mean. When I took any advice? Question, because I know it's like, different terms and things like that. Do you mean it's just making a pop sound, or is it like popping out of joint? Okay. So I assume I'm going to try to address both. If it's making a popping sound or like little click sound, that can just be air in the joint. Like if there's no involved with that, don't worry about that too much. But nevertheless, do rotator cuff work, right? The inners. If you can see me, let me pull this out. Boom. So here, like that with a band, the other way with a band, elbow in, do reverse flies, like to the point where you revert your posterior delts are burning like hell, and that will help. And then the same thing goes along if it is actually popping out. Now, it could be something with hook form. That's where I highly recommend focusing on palm facing with your hooks. I'd really have to kind of maybe see it to give you more thoughts about that. But do you mean it's just popping, or is it actually popping out of joint? Also, too, some heavy rows once you give it some time to heal after, if it is actually popping out. Heavy rows with time to build up strength. But let me know if I'm kind of missing what you're meaning by that question. And really happy that I've been both y'all. And man, do beautiful things together, guys. All right, let's see here. Any thoughts on Duran and his style? Yeah, super slick style, super slick. He's kind of, that Pernell Whitaker type guy in some ways, right? In the way he's a little unconventional, but super slick, super good timing. Seems to have a lot of things. I haven't really followed exactly like what level of competition he's fought, but I would love to see him fight one of the big names, and we'll see how he does. I see a lot of good things from him. There's a lot of little examples of things that I remember mentioning, like with one of his famous like highlights in one of his fights a few years ago, he was doing a thing of throwing punches in almost like slow timing. And I use that as an example for some of my fighters, like, hey, guess what? You don't always have to throw fast to hit people. So yeah, definitely, positive on him. Yo, what is up, Serial Master? Appreciate Serial Master's the bomb hopping in here, guys. You better watch out. All right. Ivar the Boneless in England. So many come. Okay. In England, so many come up against guys that in fight throw often set. Oh, you're talking about on the regional level. Okay. See power. Okay. Set their feet for power. Consider Canelo at first beats UK fighters, but finding out much more success through Soviet pendulum. Okay. Dissecting what you're saying, or deciphering what you're saying. You go against a lot of guys that set their feet for power. Or you tried that to beat the amateur style, but then now you're finding a Soviet style is better. Well, I hate to break it to you, but Soviet style is an amateur style, right? Those are the same things. Now, I don't know, before I piss anybody off, that doesn't mean like you can't hit, or you got powder puff punches. I'm not saying that, but that is the classic Soviet style. Think of amateur boxer, right? They kind of bounce in, they kind of bounce out. They use straight punches. They use their jab. They're loose, right? They kind of fight a little bit like Muhammad Ali, a little bit like Sugar Ray Leonard, mixed with a little Sugar Ray Robinson, a little Willie Pep, and a little bit like the fencing style. And then they've really doubled down on the looseness, which is great, which is super important. So that's that style, which is an amateur style. And if that works for you, that's awesome, my friend. Like you're working the system and you're succeeding. So that's great, man. Let me know if I missed the mark on what you meant by that. How do you increase the speed of your jab when driving off the back foot? I have trouble covering more distance. Well, I have a feeling that the answer is going to be that we don't need to try to cover more distance with that jab. We need to try to throw 2 jabs or 3 jabs or 4 jabs to cover what we're trying to cover maybe in 1 jab or 2 jabs. Oh, here's a great Jimmy. Watch this, guys, right here. While I yap, watch this. Mr. Jimmy Carter doing great things. All right. So, yeah, I recommend chopping that up into a couple jabs. But to give you a direct answer to your question, also you can kind of put your back heel a little bit up, right? Be on the ball of your foot to help you launch off a little quicker, right? That can help you be a little bit more mobile, right? That'd be my other piece of advice for you as well. All right. Okay, thank you for the advice, and I'll be sure to implement it to my boxing training and studies more. Yeah, absolutely. Watch foundational guys. And then again, focus on the foundation. I don't know what level you're at, but I assume you're at a lower level. Foundation. I mean, obviously, I know you're at a lower level because of the question you're asking, but foundation, foundation, foundation. Uh, who you got, Bud or Canelo? Man, yeah, that's tough just because there's such a size difference, right? Such a size difference. Um, my boxing heart goes with uh Crawford in a lot of ways, but like my bias of size and power goes with Canelo. Um, I really don't know if it's a fight that needs to happen, or maybe it does. I guess it'll get Goofy, you're asking about it. Man, I haven't put a lot of deep thought into that, so sorry for being a tease on it, man. Not giving an answer, but because watching Canelo's last fight, I'll tell you though, he won't be able to land the shots that he was able to land in his last fight after studying it on Crawford. So if Crawford can get the counters off like Crawford can do, like I know he can do, then he nullifies a lot of what Canelo does. And Canelo, I don't see making enough adjustments. He has really good things he does, like you'll see in that fight study that I just put out today, but he doesn't make enough adjustments. So I just talk myself into leaning towards Crawford for that one. I'm leaning that way. I'm not saying he's going to win, but I'm leaning that way. How do you remember all the small details on form? I tend to forget them when I focus on my cleaning up. What's on them? Cleaning up other parts of my form. For example, I work on cleaning up my jab, but then my cross gets sloppy. This is a question. This is a great question. A couple things. Well, one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever heard, and I've told a lot of my fighters to do this, I'm enticed to do it with me learning jiu-jitsu now, is keep a notebook or on your phone, keep a notepad of all the stuff that you're doing, right? That's one thing. The second thing is I'll tell you, my friend, it is literally always a cleanup job. It is always a cleanup job. We do, like, not to it, don't be neurotic about it, but there's always little opportunities to kind of little things will creep up and you'll have to fix them. And that's why it's important to always be vigilant, but just not neurotic. But I see it all the time. Like my father was my coach from the beginning of me boxing to the end of me boxing. I would learn some stuff and then I was started building some weird bad habits. And then we'd fix that, then something else would crop up. And that is why it is a martial art, right? All of this is martial art, but it's learning these things. But then if you keep a record of it, a notebook of what you learned, what you've been working on, what you have done, and then make a practice of kind of revisiting that at the end of every month or at least once a quarter, it's good to, I find it really strategically, it's really good. And tactically, it's really important and good for fighters because we'll work on something tactically a year ago. And then it's like, dude, whatever happened to that thing? Like now is the opportunity. You need to pull it out and you're not doing it. So having those records of everything you've worked on, but then also know it's like you'll work on that jab. Yeah, get that better. But I'll also tell you something, my friend. You will notice, I don't know if you've noticed this, but you will notice this at some point, that sometimes working on something else will make something else better too. Okay. So it is just part of the journey. And again, the human organism is not perfect. And you're going to, fall into the weird little things. And boxing is not natural. I got to the point in boxing where I wouldn't blink. But right now, if you were to put some gloves on me and have me spar somebody, I would have to be forcing myself to like not flinch with this. It got detrained, but then all of it comes back, right? You got to keep here's one. I think it was some MMA fighter said this. I heard this today actually, where some MMA fighter, I'm forgetting who it is. He said that combat sports or martial arts, fighting, boxing, whatever it is, it's like warm water or hot water. If you don't keep on putting energy into it, it cools down, right? And so like you as that fighter or boxer, you're warm water or you're hot water. And if you don't put energy into it, it's going to cool down. It's not going to be that anymore. And so you got to always kind of be keeping yourself sharp because you're going to get dull. All right. And also, again, liken it to a garden. Weeds grow automatically. You have to tend to the garden, keep the pests out, pull the weeds, and plant new seeds. All right. Ruth, I'd like to also ask, how should I get inside more efficiently? Great question, my friend. I seem to get pushed away, or my feints aren't realistic enough or thrown at realistic times. Ah, sir, great question. Or sir, ma'am, I've called some people brother and they're like, I'm not a brother, I'm a sister. Cool. Awesome. Great question, though. All right. So, love the way you're thinking. Inside more effectively. So, this goes back to this thing. And I promise you, this is not a boilerplate answer. This is the damn truth. Using a double, triple jab. Okay. That's one thing. The machine gun jab. Now, before you do it, and then you F it up and you're like, Coach Keith was a couple things. First off is make sure focusing on quickness with the jab as opposed to necessarily power, because we'll work on getting more powerful as you get more of a habit of doing multiple jabs. It's hard to do multiple jabs with power. You can do it, but it's just a challenge. So just work on that real quick, just, almost like a flick jab. And you're going to do that from literally 6 inches, 5 inches out of range. Okay. So that's going to be your entry, but we're going to do a couple of them, 2 or 3 jabs. We're going to aim for the head, but sometimes for the chest so they can't slip it. All right. And it controls their body a little bit. We're going to use that to get in, and then you need to rattle off a combination. You do that, you'll get inside and you won't get pushed or punched away. All right. Now, when you've done a couple of those really fast, explosive jab sequence of 2 or 3 jabs in a row to come in that are not from too far away, but they're for like right in that range where you're threatening that you're going to punch them. Then when you do feint it, they will react to it. All right. And you mix that in. Spend time. I have a whole video about feinting, a long deep dive. Check that out, because hopefully that will be helpful if you haven't watched it already. And then also get in that mirror and shadow box. But yeah, if your feints are slow, they won't work, right? They got to be jerky because you want to make them jerk, right? And that's how the start of a punch looks. But then also make sure your feints are actually the beginning of a punch. And then lastly, make sure you feint from close enough of a range that it's actually a threat. All right. So that is my advice to you. Get on it and let me know on the next live. I've been slacking on these. I might do one next week. If this goes well and we get super good engagement, which we all got about 30 minutes left. Also, if you guys don't mind, buy me a cup of coffee because it really helps support the channel. And yeah, I think I might want to be back. Oh, great knockdown right here. I really want to be back next week, guys. So put this into practice over the week. You know how it goes. Are training calves heavy, 8 to 12 reps, worth it for power strength increases, or is skipping rope sufficient? Man, great question. Loving it. So I'm going to say that's one of the least priorities of your lower body. I'm going to say, dude, your glutes are more important than your calves as far as like really specifically training them. Because again, if you're skipping rope, if you are running, and if you're doing any other type of weightlifting, there's calf stimulation there. We're not bodybuilders. We're not trying to, really whatever. Also, too, one reason why people get shin splints in boxing a lot, I've noticed personally, is because of all the calf work that happens and the lack of tibia work that happens. So if you're going to isolate one, I'm going to say let's isolate the tibia, right, which is really runs along the shin more than the calf. But yes, skipping rope get it. Running on the balls of your feet, like I talked about in the video where I talked about running, that gets it. And then also when you do regular lunges and squats and things like that, your calf is stimulated. Now, is it maximally stimulated? No, but it gets enough strength that you need. You need those prime movers. You need the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes. Those things are what's really going to help you with power. The ability for you to do a calf raise, not very important for your power. Great question. Yeah, my opponents get inside, set their feet, and throw combinations. Hence, pendulum to get out before they unload, helping a lot. Absolutely. Not sure if you have better ideas for dealing with that type of opponent. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, you're right. If someone wants to stand there and bang with you, yeah, and that's not your thing, you can't do it better than they can, then you move, and you use, again, going back to the jab, double, triple jabs, circling off to your lead side most of the time, throwing punches behind it. The greatest mover boxers are what you're referring to as a pendulum step, which is just what we called back in the day boxing and moving, right? And people like Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, all those guys, Sugar Ray Leonard. Yes, absolutely. Definitely with you on that. Also, Larry Holmes as a heavyweight. Also, I would say as well, when they get in close, shut them down, right? So if they lean a little bit, kind of give them a little push, these little kind of borderline things, which are helpful to nullify somebody. Oh, guys, did you see that great left hook to the body? Let me just pull this back a little bit. Watch this. Let's see. Did I go back enough or too far? Oh, there it was. You guys see that? Wait for it. Okay, here it is. Watch white shorts. Boom. Buckle them. This is actually, there we go. Arujo. That's the fight I was actually talking about that you guys need to watch. Watch this. Oh, watch this for the body by Jimmy Carter. Shorts. Boom. Boom. Oh. Look at that. Brilliant. Wow. Right? Wow. Okay. Got to catch up with these chats. I will subscribe to his channel. I describe my shoulder problem to you in next email surgery. Awesome. Yeah, man. Sounds great, my friend. All right. Hey, coach, what do you think about constant fainting? I tested it and able to, yeah, definitely work on that shoulder, my friend. Hey, coach, what do you think about constant fainting? I tested it and was able to freeze a sparring opponent for 1 round, but it becomes exhausting, more mentally tiring than physically. Okay. What's up, Luis? Good to see you in here. So, my friend, do you do it when you shadowbox a lot? Because if you do it when you shadowbox a lot, fainting should not be tiring. Now, I know what you're saying. It's not tiring physically, tiring mentally, but it should be tiring mentally on him. Okay. Now, you might be putting too much thought into the fainting. You might be trying too hard on the fainting. You know, if you're not used to it, remember, my friend, if that was the first round you really did that, you're going to be like, damn, that was new. That was a lot of energy, right? So how about you do that for maybe 10 rounds, right? You know, so and I don't mean you do 10 rounds in a row, but you do that for, 10 rounds over the next few sparring sessions, and then see if you can learn to relax with it a little bit more. Because the idea of it is it should be mentally taxing on them and physically taxing on them and give you the advantage because of that. All right. Because remember, at the end of the day, my friend, we can just feint the jab. Just feint the jab. Feint the jab. And if you actually throw it enough or throw other shots enough, that's enough, man. That's all you need. You might be overdoing feints as far as trying to throw in too much variety on the feint. Okay. That might be the challenge. Let me know. Problem, not feeling confident in cardio and going easy. Solution, go and hold on. Joseph, thank you, my friend, but I got to give it for Sunroof Korean. Bam. $10 cup of coffee for Coach Keith. Coach Keith's going to get 3 cups of coffee out of that. Really appreciate it. Love it. I got a new coach that he works at Starbucks. Going to hook me up with some deals. And maybe we can turn that into 4 cups of coffee. Thank you. That keeps me going. And we got a $5 drop by Dr. Zaus. Thank you. Let's hear it for Dr. Zaus, guys. I really appreciate it, my friend. All right, we'll go back into the trenches. Okay. Problem, not feeling confident in cardio and going easy. Solution, go in and do your job. You're damn right. Damn right. Damn right. Love it, man. Just effing get it done. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it. I know we're talking right now, and that's important sometimes, but most of the time people spend all their time talking. We don't want to be one of those people. All right. Also, don't follow the follower. Let me tell a fast little story here, guys, if you don't mind. Then I'm going to catch up with these. Oh, serial master. Dropping. Let me tell you a quick story about following the follower, okay? So there was a shopkeeper in this little town back in the day, right? It's a little town around a factory, right? Because they built towns around factories during the Industrial Revolution. So he had this little shop, kind of like, had different knickknacks in it, different, crap they got. And they had a big grandfather clock in the window, all right? And he would notice this guy would stop at the window every morning and stop there for a little bit, look through the window, look at the clock, and then walk on. And he knows that. So one morning he was out there actually cleaning the window, the shopkeeper was, and the man came by and stopped. And, he was out there cleaning the windows and he's like, hey, excuse me, sir, I notice you stop here every morning and look at this clock here. Do you mind if I ask why you do that? And what do you do? And the man said, well, I blow the 5 o'clock quitting whistle at the factory. And every morning here, I look at your clock at the shop and I adjust it to make sure my watch here is on time so that I blow that quitting whistle at 5 o'clock. And the shopkeeper said, "That's so funny, sir, because I listen for that 5 o'clock quitting whistle every day, and I make sure my clock is adjusted to 5 o'clock based off that quitting whistle." So you see, both of them were following each other, setting each other's time based off of each other. They were following the follower. So often we will follow someone that's just following somebody else and wandering around. Okay, and that's really important to remember with boxing. It's really important to remember with life. All right. I know my stream might have like glitched out on that, but I hope that story was helpful, guys, because that impacted me greatly, my friends. All right. Let's see. I'm 5'10", light heavyweight, explosive. Can I study and do explosive? And can I study ND, use boxer puncher to help mold my style, or am I too short? ND. Can I study ND? Man, I'm VP. Can you throw it out one more time, my friend? One more time. Coach Keith is old and dumb. I'm sorry, my friend. Just help me out. All right. And I'll get back to you. Hold on. I mixed Lex HP. Any training exercises to build stamina? I've been jogging 3 to 5 miles 3 days a week. That's killer. That's killer. And then do you test that conditioning in sparring? What do I mean? Do you actually output enough to really make sure you're using that conditioning in sparring? Good question. Just to give you guys a random tip, to give Lex HP a random tip, I've been doing this with my fighters again recently. This is something I did when I boxed, and it really helped me out a lot with kind of learning how to relax, because a lot of times what happens is we will be in really good shape, but then we just won't output. All right. And that's a whole nother problem. Going on what Joseph talked about, it's mentality. It's mentality. Now, how can you help get that mentality together? All right. Here's a thought. And I've done this with my guys and I've done this with myself, because what would happen with me is I would be tough physically, but I wouldn't be tough conditionally or with condition, right? With effort, right? It'd be tough to take shots, but I wouldn't be tough to freaking just push and fight, right? To throw punches, which is what boxing is about. It's about giving and not receiving. So what we would do is, after like 12 rounds of training, doing like bag work, mitt work, back and forth, shadow boxing, all this stuff, last round, this guy Robbie would put on the body pad, and he's bigger than me, put on the body pad and just come at me. Just come at me. And I had pride with my punches. So I would try to hit that body pad as hard as I could. And I'm tired as hell because I've trained hard for like 11 rounds or so. And so I would go hard on this body pad, trying to hit hard. And in order to do that, in order to just have a count of myself, right, to show I'm a human being, I'm actually doing something in this round and get this guy off of me, I would have to find out how to relax and also find out how to push past that point of exhaustion, right, and get past that wall. All right, so that's just a tip. There may be more things we need to talk about, but I hope that's helpful. VP, thank you, my friend. Yo, VP, can you drop that question one more time? Oh, hold on. Did you put it in again? If you can, drop it one more time, my friend. I'm 30 now. David or Dawood says, if I somehow still manage to go pro, is it too late to develop a strong neck to not get your head blown off by the pros who start at 5 years old? Yes. Guys, humans, but typically guys, at least you see with like strong men, things like that, they don't really reach their peak strength oftentimes until they're around the 30s, right? Mid 30s. So yes, you can 100% strengthen the hell out of your neck. Smart about it, but yes, you can, and you should. Hope that helps, my friend. All right. Ivar, great point with the push. Definitely need to get smarter, not letting them get in. Yes. Yeah. Be difficult, man. Like, remember, don't extend the elbow out, but be difficult. Be difficult. You hit them with the punch and it hits their head. Leave it out there for a second. Just kind of push them a little bit. Or you hit them with the hook. Boom. 1, 2, 3. And you hit the hook. Boom. Kind of push them around. All right. Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3. Hit them with the hook. Kind of push them with the hook a little bit. Push them off balance to the side. Matador, right? A little bit of matador time. All right. Let's see. Can the assault bike be a decent supplement or even replacement for road work? If so, what ratio should one use to equate miles on the road versus on the assault bike? man, it's worth a test. Again, if you are going steady, like elevated heart rate for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it's equivalent. I can't give you a good ratio conversion because if I haven't done it or had someone done that I've worked with, I'm not going to say what I don't know, right? That's part of, by the way, just really quick, guys. Don't listen to anyone that says some shit that they don't know or know, right? Sorry for saying that all dumb, but I know enough to know what I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one, my friend. You're gonna have to find the conversions on that, okay? But get the heart rate elevated so that you're not able to have just a conversation. So it's not that steady state cardio level. Get it slightly above that and keep it consistent, and it should be fairly close if that's what you need to do. All right, if that's what you need to do. Like I talked about in my running video, like if you're not able to run, I understand. Now, not being able to run might be a few things. There might be things we can do about it. I had a stress fracture. I was able to fix that, and I was able to run. I had shin splints. I thought I couldn't run, but I was able to run. I did half marathons after doing all that. Now, does that mean that you're me and that can be the case? Not meaning like I'm so great, but just meaning that like I maybe got lucky. No, that, maybe I just got lucky, but I just know sometimes there are answers for things. So don't quit before the miracle occurs either. VP and ND. Okay. VP. Since you gave me $2, man, I'm going to be back here for you. I'm 5'10", light heavyweight explosive. Can I study and use boxer punchers to help mold my style, or am I too short? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When I hit like my final stride as a boxer when I was in Mexico before I got my neck injury, dude, I was watching a lot of Sugar Ray Robinson, and then I started to kind of watch a lot of Muhammad Ali. Not that I necessarily was boxing exactly like Ali, but I connected with his mentality and his spirit of the relaxation really broke through to me and finally got through to me. And then Sugar Ray Robinson, classic boxing, as a shorter guy, 165, 5'8". So yeah, dude. No, you're good, man. You're good. You can take pieces of all these things. So great question, though. Great question. Any tip on hip pain and inner thigh pain on the right? I noticed after shadowboxing, my right hip and inner thigh tend to hurt. Yes, I believe it. You're orthodox, aren't you? That's that weight on the back leg and pushing off. It's a few things. Let's see here. One thing is like, do you do single weight body squats? That can be helpful, like sitting on a box, standing back up on a single leg to build up a little bit more strength equally in both legs. But then also, you might be just only pushing off that foot. I would work on evening yourself out. So what do I mean? Well, one is you could practice southpaw a little bit just to really mind F yourself. So you maybe stop worrying about things falling apart. Not to say you're that type of person, but just in case you are. But also work on pushing off the lead foot to go back with the jab and with punches, or stepping to your rear side more, right? So if we're boxing, not only coming forward, moving to the left, but coming forward and moving, boom, over there, right? So we're taking a little bit of the stress off of that, and we're working that lead leg to circle to our right side because it's helpful to do so. It's helpful to do so. Rolling helps. Sometimes stretching can help afterwards. Doing those thigh exercises, believe it or not, with a band of the extensions. I'm blanking on the term for it, but the inners and outers with the thighs, and single weight box squats, doing some type of strength training to help can help. Hey, coach, how many miles should I be running a day? I like to think about it as terms of weeks. Okay. So a week, I like for you to run, depending what your conditioning level is right now and your tolerance and everything else, between 10 to 12, as much as around 15 miles a week. All right. Now, how is that done? That means you're running, some days you're running 3-4 miles. Some days you're running maybe 2, right? Obviously your faster days, or maybe you have one day that's a long run, run like 6 or 7 or even 8 miles. And you knock that out. And right there, that's 8 from, let's say, a 10. And you got freaking 2 miles you got to make up for, right? So kind of think about in terms of weeks, because that's oftentimes what runners do, by the way. Let me go to another boxing legend to be in the back here. Or I'll just roll it back because Jimmy Carter is just so great. Nah, we'll go We'll go forward. We'll pull out. We'll pull out some Rocky Marciano, right? Let's do it. All right, some Rocky Marciano. Boom. Okay. And we'll just put it on loop for the hell of it. All right. Now, getting back in the mix. Got about 10 minutes left, guys. So fire away with the questions. I'll go as fast as I can. I was saying 5'10" light heavyweight. Am I too short to focus on a boxer, puncher style? No. Now you'll need to know how to fight on the inside, and you'll need to know how to get inside and go after someone trying to run away from you and avoid you. But no. Know how to be a boxer. Everybody needs to know how to be a boxer. Believe it or not, Rocky worked on how to be a boxer. Think about it. What did Charlie Goldman work with Rocky on? Did he work with him on making him a better inside fighter necessarily? Not necessarily. Or making his Suzy Q better? Not necessarily, right? He worked on some of these things, yes. But the main focus was on what? On that lead hand, which makes you a better boxer. You got a better lead hand, you're a better boxer. Manny Pacquiao, what did Freddie Roach work with him on? Making his right hand, his lead hand, because he's southpaw, better. A two-handed fighter, making him a better boxer, which means jab, being able to do those things. Now, the one caveat I will say to that is that you know how to defend punches and close ground, right? Make sure you know how to counter as you cover and get closer. All right, that's the one thing. Okay, so that's just the only thing in addition to that. Actually, like low cruiser, but I'm going to drop down on heavyweight. Yeah, no, absolutely, my friend. Cheers, said it again because of the delay. No, thank you, brother. Yeah, and again, I'm sometimes slow. I'll get stuck on a question and I'll just rattle off on it. What's a biomechanical tip you swear by that doesn't get enough attention? Biomechanical tip. If it is, if you mean exactly what I think you mean by biomechanical, of course, it will help if I can spell biomechanical. Biomechanical, cool. Well, to touch on the aerobic base thing, because that was such a big thing for myself, right? Having a good aerobic base and the importance of that for recovery between rounds, recovery during rounds, recovery between workouts, very important. The stretch reflex, also very helpful and important. And frankly, the concept, like, and forgive me if this is just way too obvious, but I've talked to a lot of people about this, fighters, people getting into boxing, whatever it is. They don't know this. So let me share it here. I might have shared it in the past, but I'm going to share it again because you asked the question, Ivar. The concept that you and whatever your body composition is, your weight, your height, your bone density, your body fat percentage, and your distribution across your body, right? Everything's exactly the same. Carbon copy of you, right there. That carbon copy of you with the proper strength training can be stronger than you. Nothing changed physiologically. There's no more muscle there. There's no like more fat there or less fat or anything. You know, they're not smaller or bigger now. Their bones aren't denser, but they can be stronger than you. Why? Because of neurological adaptations. Their nervous system's ability to contract more muscle fibers in a given time. All right. It's a very important concept and underutilized. That's why you have these guys. It's like, gosh, he is so strong. How much do you weigh? Oh, only that much. How are you that strong and that small? It's a fact, right? If you, this is someone the other day, it was like, you know, one of the fighters, like, hey, you know, if I tell you to curl a weight, like what percentage of your muscle fibers in your biceps you think you're going to use? Take a guess. And he guessed pretty good, but it's not going to be 100% of your muscle fibers. It's going to be, if you're kind of untrained, it might be 70%, depending what your recruitment ability is. But the stronger version of you is going to be able to recruit more of those fibers. So out of those same fibers that exist in that bicep, you're going to be able to recruit more of those when you're stronger. It doesn't mean the muscle fibers are bigger or there's more of them or anything. you're just able to activate more of them when you need to, and that person is stronger. All right. Hope that makes sense. But that's really important, guys, when it comes to because we fight in weight classes, unless you're a heavyweight. Let's see. Then he's going to try to do box squats, stepping back to the right foot in the bad habit, taking many steps of taking too many steps straight back. Yeah. So work on that. Work on a circle to your right side, right? Kind of a broad circle to your right side. A little thing to change up there and balance out yourself with your body. Also, throw a combination. Step to that right side. Yeah. So step to the right side, shoot a right hand, weave under, and angle off to that right side. Great little sequence there. 1, 2, side step 2, step under to the right side. Try it out. It's a good one. How do you not panic when against a volume puncher or someone more experienced? I notice if I get rattled, my mind will lose focus. Yeah, I mean, these are absolutely things everyone struggles with, my friend. With the volume puncher, though, that's where you have to find a way to stop the volume. So you stop the volume with movement, or you stop the volume with interference, right? With your lead hand, jabbing them can shut down the volume. Just keeping that as a barrier that keeps them away or a little occupied can be helpful, or smothering them down. If you're always trying to run away from someone that's trying to throw volume at you, you might just be playing right into their pattern of running at you and throwing punches. But if you smother them down, at least take away for a moment them throwing punches, the way you can smother the fire of their volume and then turn them. So that's it. But it takes more time with that person. But then also this goes back to my other thing. I had one guy jump on my coaching program on Patreon just today, and he messaged me how much of all the stuff of mine that he follows and whatnot, all the things. I was like, hey, well, what have you utilized and what have you seen make the most effect that you're talking about? Everything else. He was talking about every night he visualizes everything else and how it's already transferring to his training and everything else. So visualize going against those people and staying cool and calm. Again, like Joseph talked about earlier, it's all mentality. It's all mentality, man. So you could know half the technique you know now. Better mentality, which comes with time and focusing on it, visualization, changes everything. Now it's because you're being slow. DW is just because, just kidding, a stream delay. Yep. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks, coach. Who has the best footwork to study apart from the obvious? Lomachenko, Bud, Usyk, Ali. Also, switchers to study apart from Bud and Hagler. Well, let me give you, man, like one of the most classic switchers ever to do boxing. Willie Pep. He switched a lot. Then if you watch my fight study on Salvador Sanchez's last fight against Azuma Nelson, he switched in that fight a little bit. But Willie Pep, man, he's someone that switched a lot. He Ali based a lot of Ali's movements on. So good one to look at. Now, my question is like, again, like I kind of gave it to Roof Korean earlier. I gave it to him, so I got to give it to you, my friend, as well. Don't get caught up in stuff. Okay, get caught up in substance. All right, what I mean by that, like I said earlier, if you're doing a music track, man, you got to get the drums on time. Get a click track going. Record it to a click track. Now it's on time. All right, now let's record a bass line on time. Cool. Then a rhythm line on time. Now we're going to put a guitar solo over that, or we're going to rap over it. And now it's all sounding pretty good. But if we neglect to do that, and we only do the last thing well or good, or focus on that, it's going to be a crappy song or a crappy track. All right. So just remember that. You can be switch dancing all day, and it don't make you any better. You can stay one goddamn stance and not do a lot special and be great. We see it all the time. That's why you notice people that do it special, because it is by definition unusual, but that's not why they're great. If you know what I mean. It's not the sole determiner, and it's not the most common trait of greatness. Most common trait of greatness is doing a few things really, really well. All right. How was Winky Wright able to find so much success with the open stance jab while using so little lateral footwork? Well, again, this is kind of one of those things where it's like, Asian sweet boy, great question. How he fought is actually how most people fight. It's how so many people fight. It's only because of people presenting that stuff in certain ways that you think that's not the case. He fought how a lot of people fight, and a lot of successful people fought. Nothing special. I mean, don't be wrong. I'm sorry, Winky, right? He's a champion. Everything else, mad respect. So special in that regards. But in terms of like technically, it's not this insane, crazy, like what the hell thing, right? It's not. It's not. It's not. He used a lot of his hand defense and things like that to defend against punches that a lot of guys do, and that's it. So it's nothing really that special, and it's something that you can't do. A lot of it's foundational stuff that is masked up as being special things. It's not. Thank you. Last one. How do I change angles on the infighter more subtly? You mentioned after the jab or hook. How else would you recommend? Cool. I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to answer this question. Then we're going to pull the plug. Why shouldn't throw single jabs in mid range? Okay, cool. Great question. All right. So what I'm going to say on that one is, I mean, it's the question is as easy as it is to just say. It's like, dude, just little side steps, man, as your punches. Work on little walks with your punches, right? So you throw, let's say, a right uppercut, and you step a little bit with the left foot, shoot the left hook, you slide the foot under you. Tracking, step a little bit over to the left as you shoot the right uppercut, slide the right foot over a little bit. And that's how you can get yourself walking a little bit with your punches and a combination to be turning someone very so slightly as you throw. Don't strive for big steps. Strive for 3-inch steps, because guess what? We take that first step to 3-inch, we slide the next foot. Now we've made about 3-inch around, which is all you need on the inside to make a different angle. And then you can maybe double that, put the punches together, and you do that a few times for 4 punches. You got 6 inches, and you're in a different place on them. Great question. All right. Why you shouldn't throw single jabs in mid-range. Why you shouldn't throw single jabs in mid-range. Yes. So now, if I ever, guys, made you think that you should not throw single jabs ever, forgive me. Forgive me. I try to not be a never, and always type guy. Right? I try to add in the minutia. So forgive me there, Cap Lang, if I ever made you think that you should never, ever throw a single jab in mid-range. Now, if you habitually throw a single jab in mid-range, and to be clear, by a single jab, I mean also nothing comes after it either, ever. Now you're asking to be countered easily by a better fighter. If that jab is going the same place, all right? Because let's play all the devil advocates here, my friend. This is a great intellectual dive I'd like to take in for the last, here we are running over. I'm going to lock it down. If you guys don't mind, buy me a cup of coffee, because I really appreciate this back and forth. And I think I'm going to do next week because this went so well. So many great people on here and great questions. But if you're jabbing the same exact place, okay, you're jabbing the same place on somebody, it's a single jab, it's mid-range. You're mid-range. So you're technically almost the most vulnerable for punches, for all the punches, unless you're close range jabbing, right? A little bit easier to get hit by the right hand. If you're jabbing the same place, you don't nullify any of the counters. If I jab your jaw, jab your body, jab your shoulder, jab your chest, whatever, now that jab mid-range is more effective, because if I'm trying to counter your single jab mid-range, I'm going to have trouble doing it. Thanks so much for the 49. I'm going to have trouble doing it, right? Makes sense? So now, but if we do singles, sometimes, because to be clear, if we always do doubles, it can get countered the same way. Okay. And if we never throw anything behind it, it can also be countered the same way. All right. So that is why. I hope that answers your question. Why? I really appreciate you. For the coffee funds, thank you, my friend. My favorite punch is the rear hook to the body. How can I add on to this? Sorry if this is a poor quality question. How can you know? It's a great question. And this is what I will end on, because Forward Grappling dropped that $4.99. The rear hook to the body. Boom. Broke someone's rib, I'm happy to say, with the rear hook to the body. Bam. Rear hook to the body. Let's come back with that rear uppercut. Okay. Two things I want you to work on. Sorry, three things. Here are my Coach Key 3 top for the rear hook, for what you do afterwards, right? Do the right hook for the body, do the right uppercut. Great sequence, Mike Tyson style, right? Or what Riddick Bowe did to Evander Holyfield, almost got him out of there in round 10 of their first fight. Or another great one I love a lot, right hook to the body, and then kind of an overhand short right. It's going to have to be short right hand, pop the elbow up fast, and slide the head over as you do it. So right hook to the body, overhand right, because a lot of times after that right hook or the right side punch, people are going to expect something on their left side. They're going to open up, boom, and you're going to hit them straight across the face with the right. Brilliant thing. And then the last one is what most people would expect, but it doesn't mean it's not very effective. It's what Tony Zale did to Rocky Graziano. It's a great sequence. Canelo did it in this last fight against Berlanga. Right hook to the body, left hook up top. Right hook to the body, set you hard for that left hook, come back up top. Brilliant stuff for a grappler. Have a great night. Everybody have a great night. I think I'm going to do this next Monday, either at 9 or 9:30. I'm going to try to do 9 because I think it's probably better for everybody, right? But I really appreciate you guys and have a brilliant night. See ya.